Uber headed to court after San Francisco bicyclist refuses $1 million settlement. Right? They offered him $1 million. The guy goes, nope, we're going to trial. We're going to court. Is he gambling? Is he playing roulette here? Right? Does he think he's going to get more money? I mean, honestly, put below. If you got hit, depending on what type of damages were done to him, right? But would you accept the million, or would you roll the dice and go to trial? The trial may be the first in California for Uber in injury suit.
After San Francisco bicyclist refuses $1 million settlement. By Joel Rosenblatt, Bloomberg.
Thank you.
Uber Technologies Incorporated is headed to court to defend itself against a bicyclist doored by a driver's vehicle on a busy street in bike-friendly San Francisco, the first such case to go to trial in California on claims that the company usually settles privately. Edgar Velarde, 64, refused to settle out of court for injuries he alleges he sustained after being hit by the door of passenger exiting an Uber vehicle, turning down a $1 million offer from Uber in exchange for keeping quiet about the incident.
Keep quiet.
Instead, he's intent on bringing the case to a trial that's set to start Thursday. Uber tends to settle personal injury claims against its drivers out of court and public view. Velarde is seeking many millions in damages from Uber and promises to expose lies he says the rideshare company told him and details of the lack of training it provides to its drivers. Uber has told us they will not settle with us unless it's a confidential settlement, so Velarde and I would have to give up our right to ever talk to anybody about what happened, said Michael Stevenson, Velarde's lawyer. We aren't willing to do that. Uber declined to comment on the lawsuit, and cases like these can end up settling even after the trial begins. In court filings, it is argued that Uber does not belong in this case. Velarde is asking a jury to hold the company liable for injuries that are completely untethered from Uber or its app, the company said. An unusual case. San Francisco bills itself as one of the most bike-friendly cities in the U.S. To encourage bike ridership, it has designated 464 miles, 750 kilometers, of bicycle lanes, often painted bright green, throughout city streets. Velarde's lawsuit stems from an accident that occurred in 2018. The immigrant from Peru was biking home from his cafeteria job at a downtown San Francisco hotel when an Uber stopped ahead of him in a no-stopping zone. As he passed the car, Velarde was struck by the rear passenger door. Landing on his back, he says, his head hit the sidewalk. Though he was wearing a helmet, he sued Uber, arguing brain trauma has left him unable to work. The Uber driver left the scene, according to Stevenson. Besides Velarde's resistance to Uber's demand that he remain quiet about the accident, Stevenson said he also believed the company owed him more than $1 million. In pretrial testimony, Velarde said he has drained his savings, lost his job and future income, and ability to support his family. In its attempt to get the case thrown out, Uber argued in a court filing that Sharon Eric, the driver of the car Velarde was struck by, had pulled over close enough to the curb that he was surprised the bicyclist could pass him. Velarde nevertheless attempted to squeeze through, Uber said, adding that Eric didn't tell his passenger, Aaron Mortensen, to open his door. Uber also argued there's no evidence that Eric violated any law by dropping Mortensen off in the no-stopping lane. As someone who pays attention to settlements and verdicts to help us get the lay of the land, I'm not aware of Uber ever going to verdict in a personal injury case, said Miles Cooper, a lawyer who has represented cyclists in personal injury lawsuits. That makes this case unusual. A San Francisco judge last year rejected Uber's request to dismiss the case, finding that the questions of where Eric decided to drop off his passengers, his failure to check the car mirrors or warn the passengers about how to exit his vehicle are facts for a jury to decide. Safety training. Eric, the owner of Prius that struck Velarde, and a co-defendant in the lawsuit against Uber and a witness in the trial, lives in Contra Costa County in the East Bay. In pretrial testimony that serves as a preview of what jurors are likely to hear at trial, Eric said that the safety information Uber imparts to its drivers is forgettable. When he signed up, Eric testified Uber didn't require him to attend any safety training or meetings, either in person or online. I don't really recall any of that stuff, Eric testified, in response to questions about what he absorbed from videos Uber provided on its app explaining how drivers should pick up, drive, and drop off passengers.
True.
You don't really have to watch it, he said. Julie Batts, a lawyer representing Eric, and Jerry Johnson, an attorney from Mortensen, didn't return calls seeking comment. Stevenson said Uber has repeatedly misled him, beginning with its claim 5 years ago that no drivers for the company were in the vicinity of the accident. Through court orders requiring the company to turn over information, Stevenson said, it turned out that there were 8 Uber drivers in the area.
Lies.
Eventually, he found Eric. It took us over 3 years to find this information that Uber had on day 1, Stevenson said.
Wow.
In an unusual twist, Stevenson said, Velarde received a call and a letter from Lyft's insurers asking about a claim he made with the rideshare company. According to Stevenson, someone representing Uber lodged Velarde's injury claim with its competitor, Lyft. Lyft didn't respond to a request for comment. The case is Velarde versus Uber Technologies Incorporated, CGC 18-568674, California Superior Court, San Francisco. More stories like this are available on Bloomberg.com. Copyright 2023 Bloomberg LP.
Sorry, buddy. That copyright
Your
doesn't
challenge, if you
apply
choose to
here.
accept it, is this. Let's go, let's go.
Doesn't
Show
apply.
up on day 1. Work out with us for 30 minutes. Feel good right away.
Hey, shut up.
Repeat 5 days a week for 3 weeks. We're a body, and we call that a body block. Take the 4th week off, and then start again. Choose a...
There's a free ad for you guys. That's all, brothers and sisters. The guy's going to get way more than $1 million. That's the bottom line. He's rolling the dice. He's going to get more than $1 million. Right? Uber wants him to shut up, keep quiet. He has a lot to expose. I mean, would you accept $1 million or would you roll the dice? I think he's going to get more than $1 million, and we'll quickly find out based on their case number if this goes to trial. My guess is that they will settle out of court. They will settle out of court. So we'll follow up on this, see how this ends. But I have a strange feeling, and obviously if they do settle out of court, they can't mention the dollar amount. But if we do find it was settled outside of court, then obviously the amount would have been more than $1 million. Good luck to you, dear cyclist. And the driver, I mean, he's exposed a lot of the shenanigans of Uber. The case itself has exposed how corrupt Tony West, the head legal guy, is, the games that they play, the information that they withhold, right? So I hope they pay. I hope they pay big time. If you get into an accident, my friends, if you get hurt, your car, your passengers, legalrideshare.com, the only one. Brian Greening, legalrideshare.com. Hit them up. Leave your comments. Thank you.